Hi guys, welcome to a quick trick. If it is your first time here at Totally Magic channel, welcome along. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, also the bell notification, because you get reminded of every time we upload a brand new video trick here at Totally Magic. This is a great little party trick, and all the information about this trick and also the props can be downloaded in the description below, absolutely free of charge. So let's get on to the trick. It's called prick a card. Yeah, you probably thought you misheard me and thought I said pick a card. No, you heard right the first time. It's called prick a card. And it involves this. You're probably curious of why I've got this big envelope here. Well, inside here is a large card with lots of squares on. On the reverse side of this are lots of symbols, but we'll come to those in a moment. The symbols match these. These are what are known as ESP cards, extrasensory perception cards. They have the regular symbols that you're probably familiar with, the cross, the square, we have the wavy line, the circle and the star. Now the spectator is going to randomly choose this because we want two random occurrences, cards and numbers. The numbers are going to be arrived at by dice. Let's get onto the cards. You give the spectator these and ask them to lay them on the table and shuffle them around and they can mix these up as much as they like. You want them to have a free choice of any card, and it really is an absolute free choice. You ask them to put their finger onto any card and that is the one they will keep. So let's say they went for this one. You remove these. This is their chosen card. They're not going to look at it because that may influence the next part. You now need a random number, any number. We're going to arrive at a number by the dice. You ask them to roll the dice and whichever number they add up to is the number we're going to use. But make sure that the numbers on the dice are all different when they roll them. They shuffle them. They mix the dice, roll it out, and here we got a 5, a 4 and a 2. So there we have 11. Okay, so we have the number 11 arrived at randomly. Now at the start of this I showed you this envelope with a card with some squares on. And what I'd like you to do, you can examine this, you can even rip this apart. There's nothing else in there but this one card with symbols on. You've got no idea what the symbol is you've chosen, and you couldn't have known in advance the randomized number, 11. I'm going to give you this little pin. Be careful with it, it's very sharp. And what I'd like you to do with this pin is to count to the number 11. Starting at the top. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I want you to prick that. Push it through. Boom. There it is. You've pricked a card. A random card. If we turn this around, you can see there's an array of different symbols jumbled up. Can you see where your pin goes through? There it is there. Your pin is through this symbol, which is the cross. Out of all of these, you could have had any that you pricked the card. The card you freely chosen earlier just happens to be the same symbol. So was that just luck, or was there some hidden magical spell that caused you to unwittingly choose the matched symbol out of all of these? And that is a great little card trick. Practice and enjoy. Tutorial coming up next. So here's a revelation for a trick called prick a card. Now some of you magicians will be familiar with this because this is straight out of a children's magic set, or the idea was, and it's appeared in numerous beginners magic books. Before we get to this, let's just look at the cards, the ESP cards. You need to force either the circle, the star or the cross. You don't want them to choose either of these two symbols. Now I leave that up to you to work out how to do that. I just think Magician's Force is best. Okay, and the other thing is you need to know what their chosen symbol is without looking. Now you can mark the backs of the cards. These little children's cards are actually marked already. I can see that that's a circle. Okay, so I give the cards to a spectator, they mix them up, you just say to them, put your finger on one. If they put it on there, I can see that's a star because I can read the back, and that's ideal. Okay, if they did choose the wavy line, then I would just use Magician's Force. I would say, okay, touch another one and another one and do the process of elimination. I'm sure you guys know how to force a card onto them in some way or another. But let's say, for example, they chose the circle. You eliminate these cards. You then need to get a number. Once they've chosen this, you then show them this piece of card. Now I put it in an envelope, as you saw in the routine, and I just momentarily pull it out to show them that it's got loads of squares on, and then I put it back in. But let's have a look at this. By the way, this you can download. In the description I've got a link. You can download this, print it both sides, and it lines everything up. Okay, now I prefer to get them to count from the back. You don't have to do that. If you're not worried about that, you could just pull the card out and tell them to count here. Now the way these symbols are laid out, every number is covered. Okay, and I'll give you an example. With the circle, if we say that's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you'll see that the circle appears in several places. Position 1, 6, 8, 14. Okay. However, watch what happens. If I turn this around, now it appears in the 2nd, the 10th, the 12th, and the 13th. Turn it around again, and it appears in the 3rd, and so on. You get the idea. Depending which way up you have the card, you'll be able to cover from 1 to 16 all of the positions. And that's the same for the plus and the star. The other two symbols, the wavy line and the square, don't get involved in the trick at all. That's why you don't want them to choose one of those. So how do we do this? Well, let me just put the number positions down for you. So here's the numbers that you've got. Okay. Now the idea is that you have at the top number 1. If I turn it, I got the 2nd one, the 3rd one, and it'll be all of those, and the 4th one will be all of those. That's it. Just turn it 4 times on there. Now you either memorize these or do what I've done. I've done it a bit darker. Hopefully the camera can pick it up. I wrote the numbers on the envelope in very light pencil. But if you've got a good memory, you may know this, or you may have another way of knowing which way to put this. That's the whole trick. As long as you get this the right way around, whichever number they choose, you're going to get that symbol that they chose. A great way of forcing these. Now I did use the dice for them to choose a number. That just adds another dynamic to it. But if you want, because you've only got 16 squares, you say to them, give me a number between 1 and 16 inclusive, and they have a free choice. Okay, or some other way of getting a random number. Let me just show you how I did this. Now, although you can do this face up, because I don't want to spend too long studying these, that's why I deliberately do it the other way. So this you have to think about, because now I need to make sure that's position 1. 2, 3, 4. So everything's going to be reversed, because when I pull this out of the envelope, this is going to be position number 1. Now you probably noticed that what I did is, once I knew what their symbol was, I pulled the card and just say, look, we got this card here, it's got lots of squares on it, and what I do is when I put it back in, I'm turning it around. So let's give you an example. We know they've chosen the circle. Okay, now I need to know which number they want to choose. So I'll always put the chosen symbol in the top right corner facing me. I put it in. Remember, I can turn it around in a clockwise direction. Let's say they chose number 11. Now I can see, or in memory, that 11 is on the 3rd turn. So I know that it's not going to be on this one or this one, it's going to be the bottom one. So what I would do is turn the envelope over and pull it out this way, so they can see that that's the top. Now if you have a look, there is the 3rd position, it's the circle. So now they can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If they punch through this one, let me just show you which one it is, it's that one there, it comes through on the correct symbol. Print this out, have a little play with it, just getting used to 1, 2, 3, 4 will determine which way round you display this, and it's a great little 5-minute trick. Nothing to write home about, but I do think it's got some clever principles about forcing the card, the number, and this little grid here. I suppose you could change this, adapt it yourself. If you download this, maybe change the symbols for playing cards. I don't know, have an array of playing card pictures on there, or even colours and things like that, or other types of symbols. But mimic that and you'll find it works every time. Practice and enjoy.